A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu. Why get all your holiday decorations delivered through Instacart? Because maybe you only bought 2 wreaths, but have 12 windows. Or maybe your toddler got very eager with the advent calendar. Or maybe the inflatable snowman didn't make it through the snowstorm. Or maybe the twinkle lights aren't twinkling. Whatever the reason this season, Instacart's here for hosts and their whole holiday haul. Get decorations from the Home Depot, CVS, and more through Instacart and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, you ask me. I'll tell you anything. Ask me. We are still in quarantine, sort of, but you can go to the grocery store and to a restaurant if you are an asshole. An asshole. I'm going to get a megaphone and I'm going to drive by people that are just eating in close quarters on a patio. And I'll be like, you're part of the problem. You're why my career came to a screeching halt. You piece of shit. Doing good, though. Feeling good today. Tasty coffee. And we're getting an episode. You know, it takes a lot of effort to keep turning out news that, you know, things that aren't updates about my dog. But happy to be here. Happy to be with you guys. And the questions keep pouring in and the sponsors keep pouring in. We are set through the end of the year. So clearly we're doing something right. Thank you to all of you listening. I know this sounds impersonal because it's like, well, she's not talking to me. I am Jenny. Probably your name is Jenny. I am all you nurses out there. That's most of you. Teachers. Civil servants. Thank you for trusting me and, you know, engaging with our sponsors and buying the products and using the codes. We really strive to bring you things that I don't think are bullshit. So whether it's a product I've used, endorsed, or just can appreciate, I'm glad that you guys are enjoying it, us, and this. This is Ask Iliza Anything, brought to you by Tianfu. When 2 peach halves come together, they make a dog head. Kick it. Oh yeah, Emily's here.
Lil_cake_pop.
I don't like cake pops, but I've probably never had a good one.
You've only had the Starbucks ones?
Yeah, and they're cold. Cake should never be cold. Ever. Okay.
Hey, Iliza, Baby Arm, and our donut mouth savior, Tianfu.
Donut biscuit news.
How would you react if you found out your father literally had cancer and got it removed, never mentioned it, and the only reason you know now is because your mother said he was getting his stitches from surgery removed? Because I'm not handling it well.
Not about you. And you know what? That's actually incredibly selfless that your father went through that and didn't drag you into the emotional journey, especially if it was super treatable. You know, if your dad, God forbid, had like pancreatic cancer, like that's the ballgame, folks. Like, very few people get out of that one. If it was just a skin biopsy or if it was like gallbladder, which like a lot of people can get removed. My own dad had his gallbladder removed, you know? So there's the parent that wants you to worry about them. And then there's the parent that just like says like, let's not panic yet.
I would want to know before surgery, though, in case something went wrong. Like, I don't want to not have said something.
Yeah, I think your parents probably assessed it. I mean, your dad seems like the kind of like stoic, tough type. Maybe he's like a military vet. And I think your parents probably assessed, you know, anybody could die going under anesthesia, but that typically doesn't happen. So I think they kind of just didn't want you to worry. But you can say, you know, in the future, I do want to know. And, you know, just express to him how you feel, because I think that would probably mean a lot.
Yeah.
But you can't be mad.
Like, I want to be there for you, Dad. Let me know.
Yeah. I'm going to bring you hot chocolate. Emily loves hot chocolate. But that's it. But don't make it about you. Because he was probably really scared when faced with his own mortality, which tends to bother men a little bit more than women. I also would like to know what kind of cancer. It's not if he had brain cancer, it's like, yeah, you might want to, Also, this cancer couldn't have been that bad if you had no idea. So if he just got like a mole removed, you don't need to hear about it. So find out. I'd like to know.
Master Ninja Brit. Hello, Eliza, baby. I'm Hot Scotty and the teeniest of chinos. No underscores in my name, just how you like it. I'm 21 and quite honestly, I'm having trouble being myself despite my dad's constant telling me to do so. My younger sister, who is 20, is the much more sporadic thinking partier who knows how to take what she wants in life without giving a shit about anybody else.
How much could she have taken? She's 20.
Meanwhile, I feel like as the oldest, I have to step my game up
Eldest.
I have to step my game up and help out my parents, grandparents, and family business at the drop of a hat. How can I learn to be a little more selfish and do what makes me happy as opposed to what I feel is expected of me? I mean, I love my family and my sister, but geez, I want to be a stupid 21-year-old sometimes. Love you all in the pod, even though my mom gives me weird looks for breaking out in hysterical laughter when I listen with headphones
on. Your mom sounds very judgy. What's that? You're listening and laughing and living and loving? Look, you teach people how to treat you. And I don't know what your sister's like, but if she's always like, can't help out at the family feed store, I'm going to a rave, and you're always left with your dick in your hand, maybe you just do those kind of things. I don't think that you have it in you to be like, I'm just going partying later. But if there's something that's important to you, just do it. And you can have that talk with your parents. Your sister, I don't know if she's like a good sister or a bad sister, but like, there's a version where you say, I want to help you guys out, but I also want my own free time. But it sounds like you're very dependable. So people are depending on you, or you're taking it all on, and people might be like, yeah, do whatever you want. So just know that you and your sister are created differently, and you probably naturally take on more responsibility. And that might be as a reaction to how she is, or she thinks you've got it all under control. And she's like, okay, I'll just do whatever. So suss out what that is. But yeah, I was always one of those people. I never felt as young as I was. Like I always felt like, oh, that's what younger people do, even when I was young. So get it in. I guess I did get it in, but I never felt irresponsible. You're not wired that way. You're not wired like your sister. So carve out some time for you, but just know that you'll never be that carefree spirit that she is, because it would drive you crazy.
Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet. That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Eliza50 and use code Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Eliza50 at factormeals.com/Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box, plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Bowl and Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bowlandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Bowl and Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Iliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Iliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Iliza.
I have two questions that are going to start a fight.
I just want to know what kind of store her family has. I'm always interested when a family has a business. Free labor.
Free labor. I have two questions that are going to start a fight between us.
Is it about nuggets versus tenders? Because I don't have the energy. Okay.
The first one from BS Bushnell. Hi. In one of your podcasts, Emily mentioned having multiple college degrees. What are they in? On the other hand, Iliza mentioned her college degree by saying her high school education was harder than college. Which one of you smart women is academically stronger, and does it help advance you with your career goals?
Emily is academically stronger. Why? Because Emily is academically stronger than I am. You just are probably a better student than I am. You are more detail oriented. You pay attention at length. And you were in all AP classes.
IB.
What?
International Baccalaureate, which
is bullshit. It's made up.
No. AP is where you take like 2 or 3. IB is every single one of your classes is college credit.
What's IBF? It doesn't really matter. I went to a very challenging, 5 hours of homework a night, college prep, high school. I don't know how that weighs against whatever barn Emily was educated in, but no, what's the question?
I think I don't know. It's asking.
It's just designed to pit women against each other.
That's what I'm saying.
Emily, even if she went to my school,
does it help with career goals? I think is the.
What is the question?
Which one of you is academically stronger, and does it help advance you with your career goals? I would say.
And does it help advance you? Okay. Apparently, you didn't learn to enunciate.
No, I didn't.
And you were in IBS.
No, I went to a Montessori school and I could make my own schedule, and I would say, I'm going to draw for 6 hours today. And they'd say, please, don't you want to learn geometry? And I'd say, no. And they'd say, okay, it's up to you. I did learn how to type because I liked that.
I mean, you're asking me to sum up an entire K through 12 education. I can read, thank God.
You can read. I think you have a really good vocabulary that I think stands out in your comedy because
indubitably. But I have to be honest, being autodidactic, which means that you're the kind of person that is self-taught, you seek out knowledge. I'd say the bulk of my information has come from just being an adult and learning how to be inquisitive and seeing people around me and being like, oh, I want to be as smart as that. So I think, there's people who enjoy education and people who don't care. Yeah. I love an educator. I love learning things that I don't know. I love learning things about words. I love museums, stuff like that. And I liked school. I wasn't the best student, but that wasn't because I didn't like it. It's really hard to write papers when it's boring, and math is very hard.
I was somebody who was always too close to my teachers.
Yes, I could see that, especially the female ones. I get that. So there's that. But when I got to college, I was like, this is super easy, because also it's easy too when you're getting to study things that you remotely care about versus trigonometry where you're like, SOHCAHTOA, I get it. But what? Right. So
I mean, that's why I was able to do multiple degrees, is because I just was interested in something. So I wasn't like, I'm going to do math and.
Like every girl, I thought I would get a double major, and I would also do psychology. And then I took psychology 101 my freshman year at Kansas, and I was like, this is so much information.
I loved it. I did PR for work, and then I did psychology just to fill out my other hours because I love it. I love it.
The beginning of psychology is not as fun, and then you can get into stuff. No, like the Wernicke's area, and you're like, there's 1,000 kids in this class. How am I supposed to be special?
No, I love though when you get into like all the like the
Disorders.
prison experiment and like all that stuff.
I remember learning
people are
about
messed up.
genetic mutations, and one is called this may have been in high school, called Klinefelter syndrome, which is where men grow breasts.
Yes.
And so whenever they do say yes to the dress, and they're like, we're at Kleinfeld's, I'm like, men with tits.
Kick it. So here's the other question. Regal Beagle 78. Hey, Liza, Emily, and Tianfu, since you have strong opinions on all the movies that @mhig watches, what's the last movie you watched? Did you like it?
Tone is that?
Have you been watching any movies, or do you not really watch when you're...
What's the last? You know what? The last movie I watched was Eurovision, because I thought it was going to have a lot of like EDM music.
Yeah.
The movie was not great, but the songs were great, and I still remember them. Civic, my hometown. But before that, I watched Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Great.
Excellent. Really French good. Subtitles, no music.
So one of the girls, the girl that's being painted, dated the female director of that movie for years, and they had made another movie together. And the female director is a little older, and they actually broke up before this movie, and were like broken up while doing this movie, I believe.
Well, that's even more of a testament. Well, her heart was so broken. Anyways, great movie. So that's the last. I mean, you've asked the last movie I watched. It was those, and I also at the beginning of quarantine watched Just Friends, and like peed myself laughing.
I just watched Hot Rod for the first time, and I was really delighted by that. Isla Fisher is just so good in everything.
Movies, I'm kind of like a movie whale. Like whatever sort of wafts into my baleen, I consume it. But it's hard. A lot of movies, I think the person isn't funny, or I read for it, or I kind of just, sometimes comedies, like you get a good comedy, like this is awesome, but a lot of times it just stresses me out. So that's that.
I got mad at all the people on Twitter like, wow, Rachel McAdams, who knew she was so funny when Eurovision came out? Everybody. We all knew. Anybody who saw The Hot Chick, anybody who saw Game Night, anybody who saw Mean Girls, we all knew Rachel McAdams was funny.
I love Rachel McAdams. I wouldn't even say she's that funny in this film. It's more like it was clearly designed for Will Ferrell to like do his thing. But she still, I think there's something to be said for like, Christina Applegate never got the credit she deserved for like holding her own in Anchorman. And not being annoying. Like, she was great.
I yelled about that on my show.
All right, we're moving on. That's the answer. The last movie I watched was those.
Did you ever see The Hot Chick with Rob Schneider and Rachel McAdams?
No.
Rachel McAdams.
We're moving on. You can go listen to a movie podcast.
Socks_ATA_molecular level. Oh, socks at a molecular level. Hi, Liza, Emily, the whole gang. Sorry for the underscores. I just like the spacing. I love all your original hits from the Pod and Sketch Show and your put together playlist on Spotify. But I'm curious if you have any recommendations on the Tiny Hamster Voices or Aqua Voice EDM music.
Yeah.
P.S.
Yeah.
I also really like the drinks recommendations. All My Eddies is definitely a bop.
Shout out to our friend Kevy Fairkin. That's awesome. That song is great. That song is super fun. Drinks, DRYNX.
Yeah.
The song's called All My Eddies, and the lyrics are insane, but the song is super fun. You want some hamster music.
Hamster or Aqua Voice?
I don't know what Aqua Voice is.
Maybe like, come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Oh, Aqua Voice. Come on, Barbie. Got it. Nice, Bobby. So on my Spotify, I have 2 playlists. One is called Quarantunes, Tunes for Your Quarantine, and that has a lot of EDM. Hold on, the dog wants to go down. Heedy. So that's good. And on that, we have like, I really enjoy Rogue and Alan Walker. And then there's also a subgenre of EDM called chiptune, which is basically kind of like arcade music. And I made, there's a playlist called Chiptune Arcade, which I didn't make. And that has a lot of fun hamster music. I also made a playlist. You know what? It might not be public, but I can make it public. Oh, no, it is public. Called Teeny Tiny. It has 3 followers. But that has a lot of that music too. And they're both on my Spotify's. And so Stonebank is a good one. Tristem. A lot of the artists that are on the Monster Cat record label. Shout out to Monster Cat. Pegboard Nerds. So all those kind of things. It's really type one into Spotify and then let Spotify kind of guide you. Because I'm song specific, less artist specific. But those are the answers.
Kick it into space. Grantelope 777. Hi, Eliza, Emily, and Hot Scotty. Forever in our thoughts.
Where is he?
Huge fan of the pod.
He's at Horseless Carriage.
Oh,
the restaurant.
I know.
That sounds like he died. It's
I
the
know.
restaurant at a car dealership that we were obsessed with.
No,
Anyway.
he's working from home and we miss him. I've listened from start to finish in 6 weeks of quarantine. Do you believe in an afterlife? How do you imagine it? Where did these ideas come from for you?
It's so funny you asked that. I was thinking about Blanche this morning and I was like, when I die, I wonder if she'll be there. I was literally thinking this. But if you believe in reincarnation, or if you believe like a Wayne Dyer situation, like Many Lives, Many Masters, that you're coming back to this plane to learn the lessons that your soul needs to learn, then it's like, how could that spirit be there at the end of your life? Because they would have already returned here to do something else. So I don't really know how to explain that or separate that. Do I believe in an afterlife? What do I believe? I believe that we are made of energy. And I like the idea that you are on this planet to learn certain lessons, like you as a soul, like before you were who you are, like you're this certain ball of energy. And we keep returning to this planet because there are certain lessons we have to learn. And if it doesn't happen, you got to come back, which I kind of am afraid of because I really don't want to come back here. And I wonder how many times I've been here, probably a few. And that's why I really just try to pain or anything. I try to experience everything because I don't want to get to the end of this life and they're like, sorry, you didn't learn about selflessness. You got to go back. So that's it. I think this is all just a minor blip in terms of when humans have been on the planet, in terms of how long any of this has been around. So there has to be something beyond death because I think there's just because we're energy and energy transitive property can neither be created nor destroyed. So is that the transitive property?
The transitive property is like if A equals B and B equals C, A equals C, right?
But doesn't it have to do with energy? Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But that doesn't sound wrong that it has to do with energy.
Hold on. It's not. Hold on. Here. It is I'm sorry. First law of thermodynamics. Energy can be changed, but it can neither be created nor destroyed. But just keeping in the idea that, there's plenty of opportunities to go around. The idea that someone could take something away from you, you're like, yeah, maybe in the immediate future, but the opportunity is still there because things cannot be created or destroyed. It was a reach. But I do believe we are energy, and that's why people always talk about like good vibes, bad vibes, which is like a distilled, commercialized version of the idea that a good vibration, like you ever meet someone and like someone just gives you the willies, that's because they have a bad lower vibration. Or when you're in church and you feel really good because everyone's singing, it's a high vibration. Some people say if everyone else could just get together and focus on something positively, we could solve all these problems. That would be impossible. But I do believe in energy and vibrations and coming from a high vibration. You always hear me talk about that. I always talk about people that have like low vibration people, and I always try to stay away from them. Or, you do your best to change their vibration, but usually I'm just like, I don't care, burn, which is a low vibration thing. That's my answer. My answer is you can believe whatever you want to believe because in the end, it's going to be what it's going to be. So just don't tread on me and get in my way. Quit telling me I'm going to hell.
Are a lot of people telling you that?
When I was a kid, just because, I'm not Christian. But I do think the concept of hell is very funny. And I do think making fun of Satan is very funny. I think making fun of the concept of Satan as used as a tool to scare people into like going to church. That's not how you're not going. Also, if everything is perfect and the universe is what it's supposed to be, people that are horrific are sent to this planet for some sort of reason, whether it's a reason that you have to see from 30,000 feet above. But just this idea that like one person is bad, they go to hell. I do believe there are tormented souls, which is like what ghosts who walk among us are. And there are people that goes with unfinished business. But this idea that you're just burning in hell, I don't know.
Barb.Didario. Hi, Eliza. My friend is separated from her husband of 14 years after finding out a year ago about his extensive cheating their entire marriage.
Extensive penis surgery.
She just got on a dating site to prove to herself that there were still good guys out there. And what happens?
She was wrong.
The first guy's a stalker who lives 5 minutes away, and she had to call the cops and threaten him with a restraining order. She's obviously sworn off dating and dating sites for a while. And her question is, how can she move on and start a new chapter during a pandemic and without dating? What's something to distract her or make her feel like she's moving on? She's got 2 young kids who keep her busy, but she's craving adult connection as
Sounds
well.
like a distraction. Well, you can, first of all, it's not really your place or problem, but she can join online clubs. She can join dating sites where you're just looking for companionship, especially now because of Corona. You can just talk with someone for a while. There are plenty of online forums that you can join, websites, message boards, stuff like that, where you can get that interaction. But since nobody's really rushing out to like mouth kiss anyone, I think now's the perfect time. Also, that is really unfortunate that happened. As someone who's had a stalker, it can happen regardless of if you're on a dating app or not. I really wouldn't blame the dating app. I had a friend who used TaskRabbit, and the TaskRabbit guy asked her out and then like made her really uncomfortable. It's like, oh, cool, you've been in my home. So you're vulnerable as a woman regardless. I don't think swearing off dating apps, maybe she needs to pay for like a more premium one or something, or get really specific,
don't tell people your address as well. Also,
there's that. Keep it super vague. And just try to have fun with that, I guess. But don't, swearing off dating apps is definitely not. That's like saying I burned my tongue on hot soup, so I've sworn off all hot food forever. It's just the one soup that one time.
Well, it was 2 soups, but yeah.
What's the second soup?
Her husband cheating on her extensively over
but
the course
that has nothing
of
to do
their
with it. It was 2
like
soups.
that just is dating in general is what
this episode's called 2 soups. Yeah, but you know what? This is your chance. This is her chance to look inward. Do I attract that time? 14, I don't know. 14 years.
He was cheating the entire time.
That is such. First, you know what she needs to do is go to therapy.
Yeah, because that kind of betrayal is horrific.
That's horrific, and I doubt that she's ready to be in a new relationship if it's been 14 years of that slow burn trauma. And he probably gaslit her. She was like, I bet something wrong. He was like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. You gotta go to therapy so you don't pass that on to someone. And I think if we want to talk about energy, that stalker was probably the universe being like, you're not ready right now. But there are ways to commune with and communicate with men without making it sexual. Not according to them, but you can try.
I read a great Reddit thread the other day where some guy was talking about how his wife was working from home and her best friend from high school, who was a man who she had dated in high school, was coming over to work with her. And every time he'd come home, they'd be like working. And he's like, okay, this is fine. And then he started coming home and she was sleeping on the couch with her head in his lap. And she's like, this is what friends do. And he's like, what are you talking about? So he set up cameras and they were sleeping together. But he's just like, is this what friends do? Because he was just so gaslit by this girl being like, what are you talking about? That's not weird. And the guy is like, yeah, it's not weird at all. This is how friends watch TV. No, this guy's like, what?
No, it's not.
Is it?
I never touch Greg.
Oh, okay, good.
Ever. I barely touch my female friend. I never touch Greg. It's all even uncomfortable to hug. Like, hey, buddy. This is not, I don't want my private parts on yours.
Draw Drops, who's been making those.
Beautiful art. Very talented artist. I did a Instagram stories post about this gift that she sent. Everything was homemade. Everything was upcycled, sustainable. It was all, check out Draw Drops.
On Instagram.
She
says, hi, Iliza, baby arm, teeny Cheeny, and the rest of the pod squad. Actually, it's a girl, right? Yeah, it's at. I'm not going to say her name.
Pod Squad's cute.
Okay, Pod Squad. What's a good go-to sassy response to, wow, you're actually smart for somebody with an accent, or other variations on the theme? Like, you're actually smart for a foreigner. I get this comment a lot.
Who says foreigner when not describing a band?
I find it so demeaning, but every time I'm thrown off and don't clap back, it's the same level of startled confusion as when somebody knocks on your bathroom stall door. I need Carol Burgess to help me out here.
I'm in here. We didn't get the Emmy nomination, so there's that. You know what? This is so white. It's so hard for me to imagine somebody saying that, but I guess there's a couple versions. There's the clapback version. There's the version that might make them stop and think. There's the rude version. Someone's like, you're pretty smart for someone with an accent, and you can just be like, well, you're pretty stupid for someone without an accent. There's always that. There's always, you're pretty smart for a foreigner. And then you can be like, you're pretty dumb for an American. Like, you can always turn it on them. Or you can, if you want to make them uncomfortable, you can be like, what does that mean?
Exactly.
And let them just flap in the wind when they, and well, it's just, I was just saying. They're probably, what they're really, I mean, if they're not horrible and they're just saying something dumb, what they're really saying is, oh, wow, you're so articulate for someone whose first language isn't English. So they probably mean it as a compliment, but yeah, so it's like kind of, you're like, do I want to make them feel bad? But it's just so inappropriate.
It's so inappropriate. It's not something they need to comment on.
No, but she's asking like, how do I deal with
Totally.
it? You know what? Honestly, you could always just do the like, well, we're not, you're not a foreigner if you're born here. God,
I
don't
really
know.
think
It's
the
so weird.
response of, what do you mean?
What does that mean? Play dumb and let them just dig their own hole.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What do you
does that
mean?
mean?
You
Oh, do you
didn't think I was
do you
smart?
think people with accents are stupid?
Yeah.
And let them be, no, I was just, and then what you'll get is, no, I was saying, you're so well spoken for someone whose first language isn't English. And then you could just be like, maybe you speak another language, just let them deal with the awkwardness. But that's just so weird. I just can't imagine ever saying that to someone. I do. You know what sucks though? I love to know where people are from because I've traveled so much. So I like to make it about me. Like, oh, I'm from Shanghai. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been there. I haven't. Have I been there? I don't know. So it's more about like, I want to connect with you on your culture, but apparently now it's offensive to ask someone, because you can tell when someone's not from here and it's offensive to people. Be like, yeah, but where are you from? Which I would never say. I might be like, where's your family originally from? Because I just love to know about cultures, but people get so testy about it. So I'd like to think that I ask it in a way that doesn't offend people. Yeah, people get very defensive about it. So I get that. But just know if I ask you, it's only because I want you to invite me to your house for food.
Okay. Sarasita 15. Hey, Iliza and Baby Arm. I've been in a toxic friendship with my ex for about a year. He is struggling with some serious mental health issues that he refuses to address. I want to move on with my life, but fear that if I...
Is she Kim Kardashian?
But fear that if I do something bad will happen to him or his family won't continue trying to help without me pushing them to. How can I let go of this toxic friendship without feeling like I'm causing more problems in his life?
Write him a letter, be done. This is not on you. And this happens to girls so much. You're like, yeah, but I need to be there for him. You clearly like still have feelings for him. Or you feel some sort of responsibility. If he's unwilling to get treatment, and his family, that's his blood. If they're not willing to help, it is so not on you. And you need to just cut the cord.
Write the family a letter.
Write the family a letter. Write him a letter. Be like, I love you. I want to be there for you. But I need you to get that treatment, and be done with it. It's not on you. I think a lot of girls have this like sort of savior complex and you want to be the one that heals him. A lot of girls have this idea like, oh, I could be the one that fixes him and I can be the one. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't. But it sounds like it's causing you're not even dating. Even if this were another girl and you were just friends, I'd be like, peace out. You're not a medical professional. You've done all you can. He's not willing to meet you halfway. You need to live your own life.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi whole body deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right ladies, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. If you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code Iliza for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code Iliza at LumiDeodorant.com.
A hilarious new stand-up special from comedy legend Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, is coming to Hulu November 22nd. This Thanksgiving, see Jim in a whole new light as he gives you the inside scoop on everything from parenting teenagers to weight loss and gaslighting family members. For everyone in need of a happy hour, the new hilarious stand-up special, Jim Gaffigan, The Skinny, premieres November 22nd, streaming on Hulu.
Four-eye Saren, a friend of mine was recently let go from the hospital they work at for stealing medication, most likely for themselves based on the behavior they were exhibiting the last several months. Yeah. I only know this because of a mutual friend I reached out to when I couldn't get a hold of them for a couple weeks and all social media accounts were deleted, told me they work at the same hospital. My friend has since texted and said they went to Mexico, got COVID, stayed with family out of state, and is now back in town after quote unquote recovering. They don't know I know the truth. I feel like not confronting them in a loving and non-judgmental way would be complacent and further their problem. I just want to help them. They were there for me when I was in an accident. They cleaned my house, made food, took the dogs for a walk, and generally was an amazing human. Help.
So just say that. Be like, hey, you were there for me, so I want to be there for you now. I want you to know that I know this information. I'm not judging you, but if you want to talk, I'm here. That's all you can do. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make it butt chug, okay? So that's it. That person's probably super embarrassed. And if you can be an ally for them and just be like, I'm here to listen, you know, if it's an addiction issue, that's less, I guess, evil than just stealing it to like sell them for fun. You know, I don't know, but get the whole story. And that person's probably, hopefully they're doing whatever they can to correct that. But hey, you were really there for me. And I just want you to know that I'm here for you. I'm down. I want to hear your side of it. And I'm not judging. I'm reaching out to you because I care. Yeah, that's it. That's all. And if they're like, no, I was in Mexico. All right. Well, then then there's a larger issue if they're like still lying.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it seems like you're really coming from a good place. And that'll come across when you talk to this person.
Yeah. And talk, don't text.
Don't text it. Call them and say, you know, is there anything I can do for you? I want to be there for you. You were there for me.
Run any drugs across county lines? No.
Kippo 22.
Run to La Farmacia, get some cyclobenzaprina.
Kippo 22. How to negotiate salary. Now, have you ever done this? You had one regular job or two?
I've had several. I've had two.
Okay, you had the marketing and then...
I worked at a creative agency and then I worked in the marketing department of a company in a building.
Okay. Did you ever like go in for a salary negotiation?
Nope.
Or you were just there for like a year and you bounced?
Whatever.
Okay.
I was like, I'm 23. I'm making 40 grand a year. I'm fucking pumped.
Yeah.
It was so much money at the time and I was so proud. So I called my mom and I remember so excited. They offered me $40,000 that I don't get all at once.
I was reading I think a Twitter thread or a Reddit thread where people were talking about the way that we view wealth and how a lot of people that start making $40,000 a year in an entry-level job are out earning everyone in their family what they've ever earned. And so it's they see that as wealth. And so they think when they talk about taxing the wealthy that they're coming for them. And it's like, no, that's not who.
No, you're not wealthy at all.
No, but it seems wealthy when people have only made like $20,000.
Well, if everyone in your family is mowing lawns and you get an entry level, then that is, you're building wealth, but no one's talking to you.
No.
Taxing the wealthy, it's something like you have to make like over several $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Or like that's not you.
No, it's not. But okay, so
you'll see it in your tax statement.
Yeah.
Everybody gets taxed.
How would you negotiate a salary?
Okay.
I mean, you have representatives, but I think that you're instrumental in making sure you're paid fairly for what you do.
Yeah, I guess if it were just me, and I guess if you had been at the job a long time, I mean, you did this. I was already going to give you the raise, but you did make a PowerPoint and I definitely listened to it. And I was like, I'm going to give her the raise anyway. I would calculate, what it is you're making now, what you need to live and what you feel is fair. So what's that percentage increase? And then have like your dream number and then the number that we're willing to settle for. Always ask for a little more. That way you can fall somewhere. It's a basic negotiating tactic. Also feel free to watch 30 Rock and listen to Jack Donaghy's rule on negotiating. One of them is talk really quietly so the other person has to lean in. I've also never done the kind of negotiating where someone writes a number down and hands it to you, which I would love. Just the excitement.
I know, that's your dream.
Opening that paper. Figure out what it is you want, because you don't want to be the employee that asks for too much. And then it's like, and then they get angry. They're like, what is wrong with you? How long have you been at the company? What value do you bring? But more importantly, be prepared to say what additional responsibilities you would like to take on. Because as an employer, I might say, well, what else are you going to do for this extra money versus just doing the same job?
I do think there's something to be said for someone that's been in a job for a while is become such an expert at it that they are bringing more to the table than someone else doing the same job. So it's not necessarily that you need to take on more, but if you can prove, like, here's what I brought. Like, think about when you've had to write a resume or a LinkedIn and it's the worst, but you're supposed to write these very declarative bullet points of, I did such and such. It brought in this number of views, this number of money, this number of clients.
I'm saying you can do that. You be prepared to state versus don't say I feel at all, because this is not emotional. This is numeric, and these are facts. I have done this project. I spearheaded this campaign. I saved the company this money. I brought in this additional revenue. Here are the times that I went above and beyond, and I will continue to do these things. And I feel that I add value in the following ways.
Yes, there is value in the experience you have in that role.
But I also think there is something to be said for, how are you adding value to the company further? Like, if you were to get this raise, you can say, I will continue to do these projects. I would also like to step into a different role. So just think about that. Those are the things that I would say, because if Emily tomorrow asks for a raise, I already know what she does, but I personally would probably want to hear, like, and here's how. It's not about taking more necessarily, but like, here's how I will expand what it is that I do, or here's how I'll continue to also bring up if you've done anything you weren't asked to do. I've taken on this leadership role in these projects. I stepped up,
What about threats of, you'll never find anyone as good?
And I would say the same thing back to you. And then it would be a moot point. You could also do that, but they know, your employer knows if they'll never find someone like you.
For sure. I think it's becoming a little less taboo to discuss salary. Employers don't want you to, and depending on the employer, you can get in trouble, but you're not supposed to get in trouble for that. If there are other people in similar roles to you, I would try to find out. I would go, look, hey, interest of transparency, I want to ask for a raise. I'm making this. What are you making?
No, do not do that, because then they'll want to raise, and then everyone's going to want to raise, and you're fucked.
Yeah, everyone needs a raise probably if that's the case.
Yeah, I would actually ask if you're a girl, I would find out what a man who's doing the same job as you is making, and you better make sure you've been making the same as him, because all things are not created equally. I mean, they're created equally, but all things are not paid equally. I don't know what you do. Usually it's hard to be like, we do the exact same thing, but
right. But it should be similar.
Use that as a last negotiate. Like, if you can be like, Tom and I do the same job, and he eats shit every day, and he makes $50,000 more than me.
And even be careful in bringing someone else's name into it, because
I disagree. Drag him through the mud. Karen hasn't pulled her weight. Neither has Sherry or Jose. I made it a diverse, fun, problem-solving situation, and I'm here to swing on these hoes.
Yeah, if you go into it with knowledge of what you should be making, of what the current market is, of what you're bringing to the table, just be really well prepared to make a case for yourself.
That's the other thing. There's a chance that your employer isn't as armed with the facts, because they're just there to say no. So if you come in with all these numbers and statistics, they might just be like, okay, she's got a great point. She knows her stuff. So always underestimate your opponent and go in well armed.
Yeah. So Winging Down Under says, how do you feel about ethical non-monogamous relationships? Do you believe that they are becoming more prevalent as people's sexuality changes? I have a lot to say about this.
Okay, go ahead.
Every time I'm on a dating app in Los Angeles, every guy, I'm in an ethically non-monogamous relationship. I have a girlfriend.
Non-monogam.
It means that you are in a relationship, but you're allowed to go date other people. Not interested. Everybody in LA is apparently in one.
But that's the thing. First of all, this is something that by and large, the younger generation, this is like kind of the newer thing as people are like getting rid of boundaries and sexual fluidity is more accepted. It's a very young person thing to be like, I'm still looking around. You don't see it as much in older people, except for like nudist hippies. That is just code for, I'm just exploring my options. And so as long as it's ethical, meaning your partner's aware fully, which is rare. It's usually like, I thought we were just friends. She's like, I didn't say you could fuck anyone. So as long as I always believe as long as everyone is on the same page, it's cool. And this loophole where it's like, well, we never said we were exclusive. It's like, no, you knew what you were doing was wrong. As long as everybody knows what's going on. I have no issue also with like polygamy. Like if everyone's down and you're hurting no one and it truly is voluntary, I don't care if you're married to 8 dudes or 5 women. I don't care if I always wonder why it's always like the guy has 2 girls and it's rarely the girl with 2 guys. But so as long as everybody's cool, but I do think it's code for, it's not like you're polyamorous. It's code for, I'm just exploring it, but whatever.
Right. You're not even willing to commit to polyamory. You're just like, I'm ethically non-monogamous.
Just sounds like you're fucking some people. Great. So as long as, but by the way, that's the beauty of dating. You may not be cool with it. You don't have to date that person. It sounds just like a churched up way of saying I'm just dating around, but like kind of seriously sleeping with someone. So whatever.
Yes, I see it so much on here, on all the apps. And so now it's like you have to go read every single profile and be like, wait, are you a couple? And it makes me mad.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, there's just that. It's whatever makes you comfortable, you know. If that's it, that's the answer.
Yeah.
I cannot sit here as an open-minded person and condemn anyone else's choices about how they love and who they love.
I do wonder how many dating profiles in like the Midwest have it listed as ethically non-monogamous. You know what I mean?
That's a very coastally churched up term.
Yeah.
I also remember when I was on Raya seeing people like, just here for business. I'm like, oh, you're doing a lot of business? That's a way of being like, uggos need not apply.
I applied for Raya because I was like, I have 2,000 Instagram followers. Let me on there. Let me at the celebrities. No, I've been on wait list for like 3 years.
Yeah, you don't want those celebrities.
I want that. I want like Ben Affleck used to be on there. Channing Tatum was on there. I want to go look around. They won't let me in.
They probably just paid them to be on there. Like how on J-Date the models are like always really attractive and you're like, no one looks like this on J-Date. Okay.
Lee Stevenson, 19. This is a question for my best friend / cousin who is a guy, Jamie. So man, Jamie, he is a plumber and works for a business and told me he keeps getting calls from a particular woman who requests him to come and fix her shit.
My dump broke the toilet. I dumped out and it broke the piping. It fixed my shit.
Thing is, she is totally harassing him when he goes. He said she constantly tells him he can take his shirt off while he works at her place and says she is usually sitting and just watching him with a drink. She is around 55. He is 30, and she always comments about his looks and says what a shame it is that he is married. It makes him uncomfortable, but he doesn't know how to get out of the gigs when she keeps requesting only Jamie to come for her repairs. The guys at his work just laugh it off and say enjoy it, but if it were reversed and it was a man making these comments, it would be taken more seriously.
Yeah, but it's not, and honestly, okay, first of all, hold
on. It keeps going. I gave him advice to say he can't work at her place anymore, but apparently she pays much more just to get him there. Recently, she asked him to please stay and have a drink and just talk, but he insisted he had to go. He won't tell his wife because she's a jealous type and feels like he's in a rock and a hard place. Any thoughts? Thanks so much.
Okay, couple things. First of all, as a feminist, I have to say, no, it is not okay to sexually harass anyone. It is different when a man does it to a woman because, and I've said this before, a man is physically stronger than a woman. No man will ever know the feeling of being physically afraid of someone that you're not afraid of, but physically intimidated by your partner, by the person you're on a date with, leaving your car with your keys wedged between your knuckles, Wolverine-like, okay? Mm-hmm. You'll never know that because you are physically the stronger, typically, of the two. So it really isn't a one-to-one thing. It isn't that being said, everybody deserves to do their job, their professional job, and be comfortable at work. Mm-hmm. Now, I wonder if he were single, if it would bother him. And I wonder if this woman actually is attractive or isn't. Because
I feel like she's probably not.
Okay. You're not physically afraid. You're not afraid for your life, but it makes you uncomfortable. And nobody wants an advance from someone who's unattractive, A. And B, you probably love your wife, even though she seems like a little bit of a pill. So here's what you do. You decide, just like every woman has to, is this money worth it? Mm. Your job can cover for you. They cannot force you to take those gigs. You have 2 options because you're in her home and she obviously likes seeing you. First of all, you could try shaming her for taking these like toxic dumps that are breaking her toilet. I'd be so embarrassed. My toilet's broken again. I just had a lot of Dinty more for dinner.
She eats a bunch, just like, I hope that I can get her to come over.
Do you think she
tomorrow.
just stores Kashi Goleen Crunch and she's just
goes berserk
breaking up
in
those
there?
pipes? Yeah. She's just on the toilet like, Rick's coming over.
Oh no.
So he's got to make the choice. Either you put up with it, just like waitresses do, just like women do in toxic workspaces. You put up with it for the money, or you are unavailable. And that is a choice he can make. But he cannot keep complaining about it. He can't keep complaining about it while still taking the gig, because she doesn't really need anything fixed. So either lean in, steer into that skid, or just don't drive.
I think either way, he should talk to his wife about it. I get that he's like, his wife is the jealous type, but it's weirder if he doesn't tell her about it.
You know what? Shame on his wife for not being there for her husband. You're jealous of a woman
Maybe she would be.
But that's not the wife for you. Like or he sucks. I don't know these people.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that if I had a job and a much older man who was not attractive was hitting on me and I went to my husband, his first thought wouldn't be to accuse me of something.
Right.
It would be like, oh, I want to protect you, or here's what we do.
Maybe you even talk to your wife and you say, look, this makes me uncomfortable. How much do we need this extra money?
Yeah. So, that's on him. But if he's going to he can't keep going and complaining about it, because that's clearly not going to change.
Right. I mean, yeah, you either go and you accept what you're doing to make this money, or you say, no, look, you need to send someone else over there.
I would say bring another plumber with you, but then you probably have to split that money.
Can you bring your wife with you? Is that weird?
Yes, that's unprofessional and weird.
That's unprofessional.
Wife's not going to want to go.
No.
House smells like turds.
No.
Kick it.
Todd-ski. Can Eliza help me out to finish this sentence?
Okay, I'm ready.
Operator, won't you put me on through? I got to send my love down to Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Did
he want me to finish the Baton Rouge part?
Baton Rouge, ... What's the rat? What is this?
Why? Go
is this
look it
a
up.
secret?
It's a Garth Brooks song
Oh.
that weirdly isn't available, I think, for purchase. I don't know why. But I know what the words are.
Okay.
Hurry up, won't you put her on the line? Gotta talk to my girl just one more time. Slap, clap, slap, clap. It's my favorite Garth Brooks song. Above Friends in Low Places, which I don't love. Anyways, next question. It's a great song if you love country music.
Okay.
Send my love down to Baton Rouge. And it was done so long ago that like he has to like pull over and use a payphone and call her. She's in Baton Rouge.
I don't think I've ever used a payphone.
Oh, I definitely have. Well, you're just a baby. You're just a baby.
No Turning Wheels says, how do you consider having so many of your thoughts and creations on the internet when meeting or interacting with new people?
I don't think about it.
Okay.
I'm not ashamed of anything that I create. And once you make your art, it is for people to interpret. Some people see me and they yell party goblins. Some people have only seen one special. Some people have only seen one movie, So you represent, when you make art, you represent different things to different people depending on what part of your career they met you at. I don't think about it.
Right.
I'm just me, baby.
On stage page _ Hi, Liza and Emily. I wrote in earlier about advice on a quarantine breakup. The breakup was about 3 months ago. And in that time, I've ended up connecting with a friend that has been there for me. And we kind of just clicked and neither expected it. I'm very torn on what to do, because is it best to forcibly stay single for some growth time, keep messing around and staying friends like we have been doing, or look for something more? How do I even go about this when in a pandemic, nothing feels like real life?
Do whatever feels good. I don't know. No reason to force yourself to stay single or something organically happen. You're a girl and like a dude is someone who become your friend. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. So she's friends with a guy and they've started hooking up.
Gross. It's a pandemic. Whatever. Just let it happen. There's no reason to force yourself to stay single unless deep down you feel you're doing this for the wrong reasons. But it sounds like you like the guy. Don't put any pressure on it. Girls put so much pressure. Guys do it too. Just you figure it out. These are strange times. Your emotional needs are different than they would be in a normal thing. So
yeah,
it's fine. You're fine. It's fine.
Don't
And if
get
you break
COVID.
up, you can always be like, it was quarantine. I was crazy. Kick it.
Marley.joy. Hey, Eliza and Co. I'm a huge fan of your comedy. And as a writer, you inspired me a lot.
Good.
I also really love how actively you advocate for greener practices and reducing plastic. My question is, I'm going back to college in August. I'm 19. This will be my second year of
No, you're not.
college,
No, you're not.
where they're making a lot of changes because of COVID.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things is changing to our dining hall / food options, which will no longer allow reusable drinks in the Starbucks and reusable silverware in the calf / quick service restaurants. What advice do you have about reducing plastic use in this COVID mess, despite being a broke college student with an unpredictable schedule that makes it difficult to food prep and pack lunches?
Good. Okay.
I want to do my part to help the earth, but sometimes I feel like I don't have many options when single-use plastic, gloves, masks, etc. are being shoved down my throat. P.S. I do use fabric masks, reusable bottles, coffee cups, etc. They're my default. Thanks.
I just took a vitamin I found on the floor.
Ew.
First of all,
Are you sure it was for you and not the dog?
yeah, I'm pretty sure a vitamin that looks like the vitamin I take every day was for me. Just kidding. It was kibble. It is so sad because humans are so fucking dumb, the steps that we're taking. And it's all so corporations don't get sued. It's so your school doesn't get sued. It's not about care for other people. That's what all these endless plastic bits are about. Like, well, it was sealed in our protective patented bubble. Therefore, it's not our fault. It's a real fucking shame that washing silverware, which you could do in a batch, is out the window, and now everything is plastic and nobody cares. People can't hold two ideas sacred, like help people save the planet, save the people, save the planet. It drives me crazy. You can go to Package Free Shop or anywhere, but I like them, and get yourself a set of bamboo utensils and your own straw. Those are a couple things you can cut down on. Nobody can force you to use plastic utensils, and since they're yours and they're personal, you'll just wash them. I do that. I have them in my bag now. I never take a plastic straw. I always bring my own. Once you start doing it, you kind of get into the habit of it. And once you realize how guilty you feel if you use something plastic.
I think they're not going to take your cup back behind the counter and fill it. They're going to give you a plastic cup, but you can get one with no lid and no straw.
You can just do what you can. It's really unfortunate that, I mean, we're just wrecking the planet, and nobody cares. Nobody's getting COVID, by the way, from a container. It's just not happening, but nobody wants to acknowledge that because everybody's afraid of getting sued, because in this country, that's how evil people make their money.
I would love to do a sue.
I could see you doing that. So just do what you can with what you have. Don't use paper towels, just use rags. Like in your own home, you can switch to green products. You can switch, like I don't use a detergent that comes in plastic. I use detergent that comes in a paper envelope and it's little strips.
You have little strips, and then you have like a powder in a mason jar.
Yeah. So you can do refillable companies. There are ways, if you care, to get around it, but definitely start by having your own utensils.
Yeah.
And try to repurpose the cups. Maybe you need it for something else. Maybe you can use them as pots for plants. You're going to drive yourself crazy trying to repurpose everything. I am by no means zero waste, but I really make the effort where I can. And it feels like a drop in the bucket. But again, if everybody just made a small effort instead of being selfish and only worried about themselves and convenience, we might be able to save this blue-green marble.
You ready for top of the cob?
Nobody cares. That's my bottom of the cob. Kick it. It's the top of the cob. We're doing it right every day. You just take a bite.
Top of the cob.
And that's the song. My top of the cob is a perfectly boiled, in my opinion, perfectly boiled, hard-boiled egg. Noah did it on Don't Panic Pantry. And turns out, I like an egg that cooks for exactly 7 minutes, 30 seconds, plunge into an ice bath. You open it, you get an egg, maybe like 7 minutes. That's like a little yolky, little runny in the middle. I put salt on it. I had 2 today. It's tasty. The salt, finishing it with sea salt, really makes a difference. It's the perfect food. It keeps you going. That being said, I am starving.
My top of the cob is a friend of mine is fostering cats. And the way that the cats got to her from their vet appointment is they got put in an Uber, and then she was given the tracking info for the Uber, and then the cat showed up without a person so that you wouldn't exchange disease.
That's really funny.
And I thought that was so cute that she just like was given the tracking so she could go outside, meet the Uber driver, take the kittens from the back seat.
I love that.
Yeah.
My bottom of the cob is that Tianfu is the sweetest angel girl, but she doesn't listen. And I looked up about her breed. They're very stubborn. Even when we're going outside, she'll stop at the top of the stairs and I have to put the leash on her and then she'll go. She is obsessed with the next door neighbor who gives her fake hot dogs, like little treats. And she pulled me half a block away from our walk before her poop to come and get an extra treat. She doesn't listen. She doesn't listen when I call her. She barks at everything. So she's the sweetest little girl. When you meet her, she's so sweet, but like I cannot get through to her. And that's just the way it's going to be.
Okay, my bottom is that one of my neighbors who is quiet, who just moved in maybe 3 or 4 months ago, moved out. So I would guarantee that 8 monsters move into that one studio apartment because that has been the trend.
8 base-loving monsters.
Correct. So I'm not ready for that, and I'm upset.
Folks, that's our show. These were some great questions. Please keep the questions rolling in. Do not DM me the questions. They will get erased. DM them to Ask Iliza podcast.
No.
At Ask Iliza, but that's the podcast. That's where they go. Emily will call them, and we will be here for you. Let's get through this. Save the planet.
It's time to have your high five moment with High Five Casino, the top social casino where the action and real prizes never stop. Fun spins and big wins are right at your fingertips with over 1,000 games, including High Five Casino exclusives. High Five Casino is always free to play with free coins given out every 4 hours. Sign up today for a free welcome offer that can get you spinning and winning right away. Visit highfivecasino.com.
High Five Casino.
No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. Must be 21 years or older. Terms and conditions apply.